Go ahead.
So I before I tell you, I got to hear, what was your best guess?
No, how dare her leave me to do this by myself? Okay, so I used to be like hella fluent in Spanish. So I was like, oh, he's Colombian. I got this. Brian Varela. And I was like, I don't think that's right.
No, you got it. That's it.
Yes.
That's it, Varela. Yeah. You nailed it.
You missed it. Elle, I'm right. Just kidding. So while she's gone, I'm going to talk a little bit to you about non-political stuff because I was looking through your bio and saw that you used to be a spa owner. And I used to be a spa director and esthetician. So I'd have to know, what was your favorite thing about owning spas other than a certain person close to you getting services?
Yep.
That's the best part.
that is the best part.
Yeah.
I think that, so it's actually really interesting. I still own a med spa. I own two of them at one point, and slightly different business models. But what actually first got me into it is I couldn't believe that there were like these machines that like would make people skinnier or prettier, or it was just like black magic to me. I'm like, what is this? And so I got to learn the business a little bit. I own a marketing agency, and I was working with a client of mine who was a med spa, which is where I learned like all this crazy stuff. And then I just got interested in the business, and so her and I were able to make a deal. She wanted to get out of the business, and so I took over, and we did well, right? We we got through COVID. Okay, that was a little scary, but we got through that, and then I thought, well, I think we're doing this okay. Let me give it a second try, and got into a bigger spa, and this one was like massages and facials and all the stuff, and a much harder business. Absolutely, right? So I will give you kudos, because running those businesses is not just opening the door and closing. There's sales, right? Marketing, there's hiring, there's HR. My gosh, I think I had more like employee situations in that spa than any. I own 10 childcare centers, and I think I've had more issues out of like one spa than I did out of like 10 childcare centers. So there's a lot. There's a lot of personalities in spas.
Yeah. So I did this in LA. So you can already imagine that there was times massage therapists would tell me, well, now I know it very well. Mercury's in retrograde, so I can't work today. I forgot to leave my stones out under the moon with the full moon, or like it was always like random stuff, or the energy's not right today. So there were bad issues, but we also had like celebrity issues where sometimes they felt it was a dating situation. So those were a couple of things that happened. But it was, they were just, making it. Celebrities will try anything once, I feel like sometimes. But needless to say, it was very rare, and it wasn't very common. But we didn't have a lot of HR issues, really. Just, like, I was lucky. A lot of the places I worked at, there wasn't a lot of turnover. And if there was, I was an esthetician, so I could kind of fill in as well. But I loved all the perks, being able to train every massage therapist first. We had one massage therapist that was blind, and he had the most incredible hands because he just felt through the knots and something. It was really fun. I recommend spas to everyone all the time.
I heard Brian invite us out for a spa date. That's what I heard when I was looking on the light. I don't know if my mic is messed up.
He said he has 2 spas.
Y'all want to come down? I would absolutely love to have you out here.
Please plug them, so in case somebody does want to go check them out, because now we know where to go in New Jersey.
Tell them where they are. Tell them.
Yes, so we're New Skin Laser Solutions in Suffolk, New York. It's been there for probably north of 20 years now. So it's very well known. I would say semi-regionally. But yeah, come on down and check us out.
Yeah. I want to jump back in. I heard you mention a lot of businesses, which makes for a busy day and a hectic schedule. Why did you decide to add running for Congress to the schedule? And how do you intend to keep all of the balls in the air, juggle all?
Yeah. I mean, the way that my life kind of just progressed, one of the ways that I grew in business was through acquisitions, right? So I learned really well how to like basically grow businesses fast by buying other businesses. And so in order for me to really do that model, I had to basically build a very strong foundation under me. all the way from the center, at the center level, where we're talking about like program directors, operations managers, right? And then building levels above that, right? Regional directors and area managers. And then eventually, I actually brought in a CEO at one point, right? So that I could really focus on the growth and make sure that the day-to-day was being handled well. And we've done a lot of other cool stuff, like, we centralized all the marketing, we centralized all the finance. So it just like made it a lot like easier, right? Or doable. And so when this opportunity came up, one of the things that I knew I'd have to sacrifice to do this is business growth, right? So, our business is not growing at the rate it was before because I was a lot more active in that process. But I mean, you know what? It's a fair trade, right? I think that right now we're living in very perilous times, and I think that taking back the house is absolutely critical. And so for me, I thought that was fair, and so I basically stepped away from my business and all of that stuff so that I can do this. So believe it or not, I'm actually like pretty like I sleep anywhere from 6 to 8 hours a night, so I can't complain about that. I get ample family time in. I actually went out to a late lunch today with my wife and my daughter. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is hard and this is grueling and it's very time consuming. But you just make the best out of it, and you find these little pockets where you can, and you just squeeze the juice out of it.
No, that's very fair. Like recently, there's been a lot of movement where in Georgia, unfortunately, we lost the seat there because Major, whatever, I don't even like her name, but the green lady, she lost and then got replaced. But there's a big upset that Democrats are winning in a lot of different places. What do you think is going to get people to show up to the polls to make sure that you win?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of, the answer is a little bittersweet. I mean, just keep Trump in front of the cameras, and like he's doing it to himself, right? Chris Christie was on video saying something that I thought was interesting. The former governor of New Jersey and presidential candidate, basically saying, "Hey, if Democrats want to win, like just disappear until November, right?" And obviously he was being a little sarcastic, but like he wasn't wrong, right? I mean, this administration's level of incompetence just every day astounds me more and more. Like think about this, right? So you've got an administration that came out and said, "Hey, climate change isn't real. As a matter of fact, we're going to get rid of green energy and renewables, and we're going to double down on oil because oil's our stuff." All right, cool, great, right? And then they turn around and start a war, which then drives the price of oil up, right? And then the people that are the most disproportionately affected by the price of oil, which are working class and middle class families, also find themselves at the end of the big terrible bill where he cut the programs that are meant to help those specific people. So it's like if there was like an Olympics for incompetence, like it's the gold medal right there, right? It's just like that's hard. Like I don't think that how does that happen by accident, right? And so I think that when you've got this administration that's doing that, we've got communities being terrorized with ICE and DHS. We've got, if you are just like an economics person, like just the fact that we're spending 3 times more money to deport someone's grandmother than what we're spending to protect this country from terrorism, and we're spending 3 times more money than that budget, like that alone should piss you off, right?
His golf budget. I was seeing something about that. Like every time he flies down to Mar-a-Lago to play golf, it's like millions of dollars.
Yep.
But people were upset when Obama's vacationed in Martha's Vineyard.
No, it's absolutely crazy, right?
Sleepy Joe sleeping at the job, but at least he wasn't golfing.
I mean, let him sleep. The country was better, right? Like it's better than what it is now, right? Whatever they want to say, and then it's and so yeah, it's ridiculous. And you're talking about like these golf trips that he goes on, fine. You've got money for that, but you don't have $40 million for PBS, right?
Or for WIC. Like he's trying to get with WIC.
You don't have money for WIC. You don't have money for SNAP or healthcare.
College kids,
You don't have money for housing or to invest in transit and infrastructure. But you got $200 billion for a war that no one wants, and you've got $1.5 trillion for a military budget that just it doesn't make sense based on the global stage, what the global stage looks like right now. Like it is purely incompetence.
Well, I live in North Carolina. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I live in North Carolina, which has a lot of military bases. And a lot of the military, or I'm a military brat myself, and a lot of these veterans or even military people, they're not food secure. So these things that he's taking away are also affecting the same people that he's sending over to fight. So their families are going to be in worse scenarios as well, because he took away all those DEI, which mainly helped white women and veterans. So it's like everything he does seems counterproductive to what he said, but it was all in Project 2025. So when you're dealing with people who are not really sure what side of the aisle, they kind of straddling both or not really sure what to do after three different times people have voted for this man, but maybe they're finally like, maybe I should try something different. Maybe I should vote for Brian. He's a great Democrat. What do you feel like you have to do as far as talking to those people? Or do you think it's just most important to just concentrate on known Democrats and making sure they just show up to vote? Because maybe that's enough number just there. I'm not 100% certain.
So this specific district that I'm running in is one of the most competitive districts in the entire country, right? There's 435 districts. There are only 12 districts that is held by a Republican incumbent that is a swing seat. This is one of them, right? So when it comes to, this is a district that Trump won by just about a point, but then Governor Sherrill carried it by about 1 to 2 points last year, right? So it really is like the swingiest of swingy, right? And so when it comes to this district, yeah, we've got to turn out the base. And I think that Trump is in a way helping us with that, right? But we absolutely need to engage unaffiliateds and independents and even moderate leaning Republicans, right? There's a lot of Republicans that I've met on the trail that do not associate themselves with, they're Republicans because they believe in the old school Republican values, but they hate Trump. They've been voting Democrat since 2016, even though they're still registered Republicans. And even Republicans who voted for Trump in 16 and in 20 and even 24, and we're seeing it now on social media, they're having regrets. I remember in 2024, I got friends and family that voted for Trump. And for me, I'm like, what are you, like, are you guys crazy? But, you know, I come from a place of love and respect. And so when I first asked, one of the first people that I asked was someone who's very close to me, why he voted for Trump. You know, he's someone who's about my age. I'm 37 years old, and he was 36 at the time or whatever. And what he said to me, he's like, bro, like, I can't buy a house, right? Like, the economy is not working for me. So we've got to change something up. But him, along with all of my other friends and family who voted for Trump, they voted for Governor Sherrill last year. So what that's showing me is that people are realizing that this, what we've known all along, the guy's a con artist, he's a grifter, he is a liar. He will say anything he needs to say to get what he wants, and he's ultimately going to bow down to the billionaire buying class that are the ones that are putting all the money into these elections to help their people get elected so they can put their interest above working and middle class families.
I agree. I think everybody who, even though it was right there and in Project 2025, I think that people were very upset and tired and facing the fact that there are no such things as starter homes and all of these things. And so I do understand to a very small extent how you felt swindled, right? Because if you aren't somebody who's into politics and you were kind of just going on face value, he's telling you all of the things, right? And his campaign, I will say, did a very good job of that. He would say one thing, but the facts would lay out something else. But if I'm not an educated voter, I don't ever make it to the facts. And that's what he kind of gambled on, and he gambled and he won this time around. But my question is, if and when hopefully elected, what are your plans to help enforce the War Powers Act and to kind of get back to some real congressional oversight? And then what do you think about the fact that the person you're running against, Tom Keene Jr., hasn't really stepped up to the plate, hasn't really sounded off for the state of New Jersey? We're right here on the East Coast. Something, God forbid, happens in DC, it happens to us.
Yeah. Look, I'll tell you, like, flat out, Congress needs to take back Article 1 War Powers, right? Like, that's the solution. It's not complicated, right? Congress, like Tom Keene Jr., like his colleagues, they are lying down flat, letting the executive branch steamroll them. And that's because they're afraid of him, right? Like, and sure, that can sound partisan, but no, like, let me explain. Here in this district, we have, he's been silent on the war in Iran, right? Like a lot of these Republicans, but it doesn't stop there. We have the Gateway Tunnel, right? This is a project that is $16 billion in regional economic impacts, 200,000 union jobs. The Trump administration came out and attacked that tunnel as a slight to Chuck Schumer or something ridiculous, something petty. And they basically pulled funding. This is not an issue that is a left issue or a right issue. This is a this is a New Jersey issue.
The country of New Jersey issue.
It's not like the Democrats are the only ones commuting in and out of the city, right? We've got Republicans who do that, and that's just the commuter side of it. We're not even talking about the impact on the logistical implications and how that limitation is actually it's driving the cost of living up. So you had people everywhere pissed off. Not one word from Tom King Jr. Like, not good or bad, right? But I got a better one. DHS decides that they want to buy a warehouse here in Roxbury in the district so they can detain up to 1,500 migrants. We're talking about a warehouse where they want to treat human beings like Amazon packages, right? That's the way they look at it. They're trying to look at it logistically. How can we make it logistically operational and efficient? All right. So Democrats are pissed. You know who else is pissed? Republicans. As a matter of fact, the entire Republican council in that town came out in opposition to this facility. They then came out with a very public comment because it was a statement, a very formal statement, very obviously well thought out. Basically, I'm trying to keep my language here. Basically,
I'll go for it.
They're all right. Like, they're shitting on.
He cusses.
Like, they're shitting on this guy. They're like, dude, you are nowhere to be found. You have not responded to us in an adequate manner. We've asked you for help with this. Your office has been non-responsive. And they came to the point where they literally came out and made a public statement to a journalist. Can you imagine what they were saying behind the scenes? So, like, you've got the national headwinds going against the Republicans, but in this specific district, you've got a congressman who is so afraid of the Trump administration that he'd rather stay quiet about the Gateway Tunnel, no comment about this ICE detention facility. The deciding vote on OBA, trying to gaslight voters, saying that this is a good thing, all because he's more afraid of Trump than he is the voters.
It's crazy. I think. Oh, did you want to go?
No, I agree. I agree that they're all afraid of voters. You've got Tom Keene in your district. You've got Chris Smith over in District 4, who wrote the legislation on the anti-trafficking rights. And it's like, you're just silent while all of this is going on, while we're saying, like, yeah, no, Pam Bondi isn't here, and no, she won't be doing the hearings. How are you staying quiet in all of this? But my question was, you mentioned earlier that you're 37, and I want to know, what do you say to people around your age who feel like, they're not old enough for Congress? And I want to also highlight the Hughes of the world, the Rachel Pieces of the world in District 4, Kyle Little and District 12. These young people, business owners who literally just see a problem in what's happening in the world and want to make a change. And so they're stepping up to the plate. What advice do you have to anybody watching who might want to take on Congress in their area?
Look, I would say, ultimately, if it's in your heart and you're really there, like, do it. It's very hard. I think one of the biggest mistakes that first-time candidates make is they are like, yeah, I'll give it a shot and see what happens. I mean, sadly, money plays a big role into politics. And so especially if you're running for Congress, like, you got to have the Rolodex, right? And if you don't, you got to start building it, right? Like, people assume, and I don't want to discourage anyone, like, do it, because it is a great experience. And even if it doesn't go your way, like, you will come out better for it. But if you're truly going for
funding is needed.
Yeah, like, money is needed. Like, people watch that documentary with AOC. It's an amazing documentary, right? And, like, people don't realize that AOC was lightning in a bottle, right? Like, what she did was so, like, just astounding, right? Like, totally took the political infrastructure by surprise, right? But that's what we talk about the most. And so what people don't realize is that, like, yes, maybe that can happen to you, but, like, understand that it probably won't, and that's okay. That is okay. You don't have to have that kind of success, right? Get in there. Make sure you've got the Rolodex, because you're gonna need money. Absolutely, right? And just when you do it, like, seek out what your goal is. You want to win, but if you can't win for whatever reason, then something has to come of it. What message did you pierce through? What policy did you bring awareness to? How, if you're running in a competitive primary, how did you affect maybe the mainstream candidate, right? The machines candidate, right? How did you force them to meet you at your issue, right? So like there's a lot of ways you can still win without actually winning. And I think that when young people want to do this, go for the win, but also understand what your sub wins can be. The other thing that I'll say is that the younger that you are, the better. Because when you are, look, once you've got kids and you've got a mortgage and you've got your car payments, like this is a risk. I am in a blessed position that I can do this because I know that a lot of people, even if they would make the best public servants and truly want to do this, can't do it without taking a very serious risk for their family's well-being, right? So if you don't have kids, if you're not married, and this is something that calls to you, do it. Because the best way to succeed in this long-term is to start young, right? Start young and just get out there, stay true to yourself, stay authentic. And what comes of it may come. You know, you're gonna piss some people off, but you're gonna win some people over on the way.
I like that. I think it's interesting when you brought up about funding, because that was a big issue down here in North Carolina in our Congress primary. There was a big talk about APAC money and data center money and this, that money. And it got to a point where it's like, well, how else do people who don't have access to, maybe, like you said, Rolodex, and for those young people that don't know what Rolodex is, it's basically like your contact list in your phone that you have to scroll through. But back in the day, we had a paper form and it was like on a roller. Anyway, it's too hard to explain, but it was a manual phone book. You had to be there. My dad had one and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Couldn't wait to have my own Rolodex when I grew up, and it's completely useless.
So bad. Side note, at my old job, I had a Rolodex at my desk and I used to love it. We also had a computer system. I could very easily like type up these people. And I used to be like, let me check the Rolodex.
Like, don't tempt me with a bad time. Cause now I'm like, ooh, I'm definitely going to look at that the next time I go thrifting. But I wonder what you feel about there being somewhat of a cap or something with the camp, because it was millions of dollars that were poured into this campaign that didn't funnel out to the community. Like, I feel like that kind of money would be so much more useful at programs that need it, from education to all the different programs you mentioned before. How do you think we can change that? Because like you said, a lot of young people, it's a financial risk. A risk they may still be paying for, since a certain person ended free college loan or college loans by, I forget what it's called. I didn't get one of those. But
corporations have feelings. How dare you?
I know. I'm sorry.
How dare you come for that? Why would you?
I'm not coming for. I mean, I'm not coming for.
I'm for them.
I also, I'm like, but I'm not a sorority girl, so I can't call up some sorority friend like, hey, I need $100,000. I'm running for Congress. Help a sister out. Maybe you guys have friends like that. I don't. I wouldn't even know how to ask for that. So how do we change that so that more people who are really good people that just don't have that kind of access have the ability to run?
I mean, look, for starters, we have to end Citizens United. Like, that is, I think Citizens United has been single-handedly one of the worst things that's ever happened to this country. Like, if you even look at like the attack on reproductive rights, like this has been happening for a long time. But once Citizens United came into play, like the attacks just like off the charts, right? And when you talk about private equity, like, for example, we're having a housing crisis. It's entirely a supply issue. The marginalized communities are being disproportionately affected by what private equity is doing, right? You know what would stop that? Ending Citizens United, right? Even if you look, I was
going to say tax billionaires, but hey, I love this too.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of ways to slice an apple. You know,
same apple.
and so when you look at like a lot of the issues that as a society we are having, we think, oh, well, it's housing, and oh no, it's healthcare, and it's energy, and it's the attack on reproductive rights and on women, and like they seem separate, but they're not, right? Citizens United allows these billionaires and these corporations to basically put all their money together so they can advance their agenda, right? And so if we can end Citizens United, I think that's going to solve like maybe 60% of the issues that we're facing, right?
Oh, wow.
Right. I think that puts a lot. That is like creates a purer form of our democracy. But it doesn't stop there. there are definitely other issues, and I think when it comes to good people running for Congress, like, look, we should have a program where where the government matches small dollar donations, so that you are that much more incentivized to talk to the people, the voters, who can maybe only afford to give you $5, right? Maybe only $50, right? Whatever that is. Like, sadly, the way that campaigns work right now, they only want and in me as being part of that system at the moment, like, when we're on call time, like, we have to call people who we know can give 500, 1,000, 7,000, right? Because that's what our competitors are doing, right? And sadly, right now, money is the name of the game, right? So, but if we can institute some policies and some rules around small dollar matching, campaign caps. New Jersey actually does a good job at that, and with the governor's race, right? Those are things that'll level the playing field and allow other people who may not have this opportunity to be able to step up and actually have a chance.
I just want to do a little quick program note for people that may not know what call time is. It's basically a list just like this. Funny that you brought it up. I had my little training today with not today, but with DMO a few months back, where you literally make phone calls over and over again to people, and you write out lists of people that would help. And they even have a thing about Rolodexing, which is funny enough, where you write down who is the person, and there's somebody there taking note to make sure that you remember this person has a kid in college, so talk about them about your college policies, or this, that, and the other. So that's a little bit about call time and Rolodexing. I just realized, I'm like, oh wait,
I think all of that is great. I have no con to any of that. I also want to add that I feel like a lot of candidates forget the power of canvassing, right? The power of knocking on people's doors and genuinely just talking to people. You reference AOC, and one of the things that was very instrumental in her grassroots campaign is that she was able to get people to hit that reoccur monthly button. Can I have $5 from you a month? Like, I can make the change, but if I get $5 from you, $5 from you, and $5 from you, and so on and so forth, in addition to the calls, because you do need the money. This is a very, very expensive game. And I always encourage my candidates to be as authentic as possible about that. Let your audience know, because if people knew how expensive this was, and how much work and how hard it is to galvanize canvassers to knock on doors and do all of these things, it might feel a little bit better, because the normal consensus is, well, what am I getting out of voting? Especially because most people only vote in the national elections, and they don't see it coming back to them, but they don't see it coming back to them because they don't participate in these local elections. Your councilman matters. Who is your Congress representative matters. These people have more of a say-so in what is happening in your day-to-day lives than any president, whether we like him, her, hopefully one day, will ever have. I want to also touch on, earlier you talked about Republicans turning, and I think that there's this weird shift that's happening between what used to be considered the Southern Republican with their Southern, their old Southern Democrat values,
the Jesse Helms ghost we can't seem to shake.
Absolutely.
Of Tim Tillis and Lindsey Graham's. Yeah, go for it.
Once it was the great migration from the Democratic Party, but I'll spare you all the history lesson. But something that I think is very interesting is that people are now, I don't like what he's doing with the war, or gas is high, or you said you were bringing groceries down, or you said you brought the troops, like the troops came home and you weren't going to go back, and now the troops are there. And I think one of the most interesting facts to me is, but if you're supposed to be Christian, this was anti-Christianity a long time ago. Like, did you not? I, as a political junkie, first and foremost, I cannot believe that I live in the same world where, like, Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton, that was like a huge deal. And I'm not negating whether or not it should be, right? But Obama in the tan suit, that was a huge deal. And then we get a live tape of our presidential candidate talking about grabbing females by the Hello Kitty on E with a Bush kid of all people, and that did not tank an election in the same political sphere where your guy, who was it, running against Kerry, we're gonna go out and we're gonna get New York, we're gonna get Arizona, and woo, and his voice cracked, and that's what threw the election. You're done. But this man said, grab him by the Hello Kitty. But no, she has work emails on her personal device. What are we doing here, guys?
Yeah. It's like they want the perfect candidate. How that's on our side, but on their side, it could be a convicted criminal who's had 5 wives.
Yeah, but everybody
like,
put up
or
has
3.
Kennedy clean.
I can't remember.
And I think that's like the frustration that I personally have, right? I mean, when you've got the Pope, condemning you, I mean, man, man. So, I honestly don't have an explanation. I mean, I think he calls it Trump derangement syndrome. I guess it must be a real thing, because it doesn't reconcile in my mind, right? I think you're absolutely right. I think that we, especially even us Democrats, to our own party, like ourselves, like we have very high standards for our own candidates. We put ourselves through the ringer. Like there's no one who eats their young like their own, like the Democratic Party. But meanwhile, the Republicans are just parading around, celebrating the next crazy thing that Trump does, as disrespectful as it might be, as racist as it might be, as sexist as it might be. They don't really care. And I'll be candid, I can't explain it. I really, really can't.
Like, I'm curious, what is it like when the family members that voted for Trump and you guys meet up? Maybe you met up for Easter holiday. How do they still explain supporting him, or they've finally seen the light? That's the part I'm just so confused by, that a lot of people don't have buyer's remorse still, even though they should. I don't know if they're just not publicly want to say, oh, I was wrong, or they're just so delusioned because they're only being fed in this echo chamber that they can't see that how detrimental his administration is to their own livelihood.
Yeah, it kind of varies. Like, I will say that a lot of the people who supported him, or that I know personally, like a lot of them voted for Mikey last year, right? And to me, that was great. We're moving in the right direction. But there are some people that, like, I just, the one thing that I always try to do, because years back, I would actually try to sit down with people and try to go have a logical debate and convince them. And then maybe I make some progress. And now they're kind of seeing my point. And then I'd see them 2 days later and they're back on the MAGA train. Like, we never spoke, right? So I learned to not waste my time. And but what I will still do is I will engage some people who I know are violently pro-Trump. And I'll kind of put them in hey, you think this, but what about this, right? And I'll just give you, and this is a sad story to share, but I'll just share it with you briefly. There's a gentleman who I know, a dear friend. I've known him for a long time, and he thinks Trump is the second coming, and Trump is the greatest thing that's happened to this country, and justifies everything that he's done. And so I was like, I got him. I think I know how I can get him, right? And I thought I had a checkmate, and I go to him. This is such a crazy story. So he and I both know someone who was deported, and they are friends. Like, they are close, getting drunk in a hot tub together close, right? Like that's like his boy. And so I'm talking to him like, yo, yeah, well, you think that's good? You think, oh, what about this guy? And I'm like, I got him. I got him. The guy looks at me squarely in the eye and says to me, he goes, collateral damage. And I was like, holy shit, you are so gone. I cannot. This is your dude, And so there's just people out there that no matter what we say or do, or what Trump says or does, they're just never gonna see the light.
I wish they would only have their own collateral damage. Like, why do we all have to get affected by this? Oh my God. Go ahead.
No, my first day as president, I'm not going to run. I'm just going to take over because it's high time. But my first day as president, I just say we reclaim Epstein Island, and make it MAGA Island. And you just put everybody over there. That's the collateral damage. Put everybody in their own space. Y'all can have it. And then, just in case Iran do decide to, they know it's, I don't know. What I'm saying is it's 8:00.
I was like,
oh my God, you're going to get into trouble.
I was like, for the record.
Just kidding, guys. No, seriously. Please stay safe. If you guys have anybody that is in the military in your family, please keep them covered in prayer, in good spirits. We want them all to make it home safely. In war, there is collateral damage and we will lose them. And this is unfortunate and we shouldn't be losing any American soldiers. So thank you guys for your service. Your family members, thank you all for your service. Brian, please tell the people where they can find you, where they can support you, how they can help be
donate.
a part of the movement.
Well, I definitely appreciate you guys. This has actually been a lot of fun. I do a lot of these, and this has been probably one of the most fun ones. I will tell you that if you are in the district, check us out, VarelaForCongress.com, Brian Varela, just Google it. Or if you're on social media, follow us at Varela4NJ, so Varela number 4NJ. That's typically our handle on, I think, on every platform. But yeah, reach out. We would love donations, but what we could really use right now are volunteers. Right, we've got 56 days till the primary, so come join us. We've got a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take back the House, starting with this district, and we can't do it without you. So thank you guys so much for having me on. It's been a real pleasure.
The pleasure has been all mine.
Brian, stay right here. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with you. Camille?
This was a fun episode. And I didn't even get to talk about my Sierra, and I was going to ask him about Sierra because Mayor Zoran already said he was Team Sierra, so I meant to ask him what team.
Could
Sierra,
you imagine if Brian was like, "Yeah, actually, Summer House is my jam. Team Sierra, fuck Amanda and West." I'd be like, "Get this man elected."
Don't come to my spa. We'll get you some chemical pills. I'll really pill you.
I'd be knocking on doors tomorrow. They'd be like, "Well, what are you doing in District 7?" I got to go for the one that watches Summer House.
100%. Like, I need to know you watch some Bravo shows. I mean, he's a dad. I get it. But how are you going to work at a spa and not know your, you have to know your audience, right?
Can I tell you this?
Yeah.
When I was on Mikey Cheryl's campaign, right? So she's coming to Brief by Elle. She's doing an interview and I'm asking her team, I'm like, dude, I know campaigns are hard, but what is she watching? Like, what was it? The Summer I Got Pretty was like out. All of these things. It's summertime. I know she's not watching
Filmed
Love
in
Island.
North Carolina.
Sorry. Summer TV is out. What is she watching? And her team was like, she doesn't want to like come across as like, you know, not smart or anything. So we're going to stay away from questions like that. I'm like, dude, do you know that if she opens up her mouth and is like, yeah, I'm team insert whatever housewife, like to the moon. I'm trying to, I'm throwing you up.
I mean, it's, the thing is, so we were talking about a certain person, and I called my aunt who's a judge, and she has to be prim and proper all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, she likes sometimes to watch those ratchet shows because it's a release. Because all the time she has to be perfect all the time, can't post anything, can't do this, can't do anything political, can't da, 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 da. So she loves seeing people being able to live out loud freely. Not having a code switch, just be themselves in the authentic. I can't say the word right now. They're just so authentic with it too. Like she loves all of that. She hates when they're like fighting and all that because, you know, she's still in the political world, but I'm not political, professional. And yeah, I'm trying not to give out too much about her. But you know,
we don't know her at all. She's not even a person. We're talking about fake people, guys. I have the 100%. Most Bravo conversations in the political spaces, but I'll tell you about that offline. Guys, you guys could have been anywhere on the internet, but you were here listening to the things that we consider news. And for that, we are thankful. We are appreciative. It costs free $99 to be a good person. So like, go outside and do that shit.
Amen.
Bye.
Make sure you tune in again next week. We'll be back.
Same time, same place. You know the plan. Oh, he